Sometimes I feel like I've already seen everything that's gonna happen. And it's a nightmare.
So as you might be able to tell from my flat accent, I am also from Cleveland, and like you guys, and like Nico Walker. One thing that I loved that I sort of identified with in the movie is that you captured sort of like the fatalism or aimlessness of a lot of the guys that we knew growing up, just like sort of in the industrial Midwest. They're like doing a job, making a living, maybe you have a pension, maybe you don't, like living in a duplex, etc. How did you like identify with that mentality and with Cherry the person?
Well, it's how we grew up. I mean, why we responded so strongly to the book is that, Nico grew up in the same area that we grew up in. He ran in the same neighborhoods we ran in. So the whole first part of the movie is just, a memoir, our memoir combined with his memoir of the city and that lack of forward momentum that you referred to, that you feel that existential blight that grips the Rust Belt where sort of, am I ever going to get out of here kind of a feeling. And, the guys riding around in a car, that's Anth and I with our friends riding around in a car, arguing on the same streets that we used to ride around on when we were teenagers. The restaurant in the film is the restaurant that I worked at, which is also the same restaurant that Nico worked at. The art museum is right across from Case Western. The campus that they meet on is Case Western, where we went to school. So the movie is just filled with our remembrances of youth and making poor decisions. Combined with the book.
Yeah, it's funny because obviously I've been to a lot of those places too, and I feel the same way. It's like I know that version of the Case dorm room or whatever it is. Like I know, I've been in those places. But like one thing I worry about as someone who's from Cleveland is that there's a lot of grit in this movie. We're sort of immune sometimes to like the blight of Cleveland. Do you worry about sort of like showing the world that it's not all just like broken windows and people, dead end jobs and dead trees and stuff like that?
I mean, the truth is we love Cleveland. I mean, we love the city. And I think that part of the reason why we love the city, I think is part of the reason why all Clevelanders love it is the fact that the city has seen adversity. It has had a really hard time economically for decades now. And that has taken a toll on the place. It has, if you're from there and you as the decades go by, you've seen neighborhoods decline around you. You've seen some completely disappear. It's part of the experience of the city. But what that does is it causes the people who live there to push back against that kind of energy. It activates you, and you have to push back against that. And part of the way that we all push back against it is by sort of turning to one another and doing it together, like recognizing that we have this shared experience of difficulty. I mean, Cleveland is a fantastic, like if you travel around the world, Cleveland is as good as it gets, right? There's a lot of troubled areas of the world. So when we're talking about the troubles in Cleveland, it's a relative issue, It's specific to the fact that it had an overwhelmingly industrial economy that sort of gave birth to this amazing city on the shores of Lake Erie, and that since heavy industry has sort of declined in the United States, it's had some economic hardship and it's lost population as a result. But the good news is that it causes people to really band together, identify with one another, and so Cleveland's got this really rich sense of community, very strong sense of identity. And that is very fortifying and exciting. It's something wonderful to be a part of. And the thing that Joe and I always point out, we've shot 4 movies in Cleveland now. Every time we shoot a movie there, and we bring crew in from out of town, everyone that comes to Cleveland loves it. They we make sure that everybody ties into all the most fun, cool things about the city, the things we love most about it. And everybody leaves with such a fantastic impression of the place. Because it is a really rich city. It's a rich city on a cultural level, socially rich. It has great history to it. It's an exciting, fun place. But yes, we do tend to, like with drama, sometimes you have to look at the pain in order to feed, in order to catalyze a story, in order to catalyze a character. And so that is our jumping off point. In this story specifically, it's coming from a place of disconnection and anxiety and angst.
When you look back to when you met the one you loved the most, remember exactly how it was.